Hi, I'm Tim Emerson of Kuan Yin Healing. One of the things that surprised me when I first started getting into this work, I kind of thought I'd have to do a lot of explaining and helping people understand how healing works and that it worked and dealing with all of these sorts of things. And I found out that none of that was true. That when people came, they were on a journey. It was already in process. They I wasn't the start of this. They were already seeking. When I would start to do sessions, when you do a session, there are certain responses, registers that people will go through. Their eyes will rapid eye movement and swallowing, breathing changes, movements of the hands and feet. And these would start before I started the session. When you're doing a reconnection on the second day, especially, a person's energy will start expanding, and it would expand when I walked into the room. Um, so I came to realize that the process and their journeys had very little to do with me, if anything. That they didn't find me and then start. That rather people were already on a journey, and they just pulled me in as a resource, which is what reconnective healing does. It's not an outside force, it's a catalyst. It's coherence of your own energy, it's cleaning out your own um, communication systems from higher selves right down to earth energy. So instead of explaining healing and how it works, instead of getting people to trust me, I found that that already happened. That the time I spent on that was simply me trying to wrap my head around things. It's not what people were concerned with at all. Instead, they were quite convinced it works, and they trusted me implicitly, and they were concerned rather with being kind of afraid of it. What is happening? At first, I thought, what is happening to me? But that's easily explained. It's their own energy. And I came to understand that the real fear was, what if things change, right? um, we're not used to things changing. We're not used to jumping into things are supposed to work out. Um, and the problem isn't fear of something outside. The problem is actually fear of something inside, okay? What will happen? And so people come kind of excited and nervous. And once I started to understand this, I also started to recognize when people were running. Um, they would start to make objections and concerns that just didn't make any real rational sense. Or the same kinds of repeated obstacles would come up. And very quickly, once I started to see that, I learned to, well, my decision really, to just drop it. Let them go. I'm looking for people who are good fits, not into converting people who aren't. When they're ready, if ever, I'm still here. And so are a lot of other people in solutions. I'm certainly not their only option. So when I see that happening, I just realize, they're fighting their own fears, and just let them go. But here's the thing, and here's what I can, and I think have a little bit of responsibility to point out to people who have come. Something brought you here, or something brought them here, right? It's not by accident. And by this, I don't mean some cosmic force, or fate, but simply that people are busy and they don't pursue everything they see. So something triggered this exploration. A friend's referral, a Google search, something was wrong, right? A Facebook post that resonated, a YouTube video they came across, a LinkedIn profile, whatever it was, something inside you said, oh, what's this? And you noticed it because it addresses something inside that you're seeking. It fits your journey, right? We see what matches our attention, our needs and concerns. We're bombarded by stimuli all the time. We see the things that are relevant to us. And that's what brought you here. So ask yourself, what would be the benefits for you here? What concerns would be addressed? What issues would be resolved? How would life change and improve for you? What would become possible? What goals and dreams would be realized? What fears and limitations would be released? What obstacles would be overcome? What new direction could you then pursue and enjoy, free from what was holding you back? See, if you stepped out onto the platform, right, out onto the tarmac, on the deck, crouched on the starting line, why would you then go back? Why enshrine the very problems that sent you traveling towards solutions? And what will life be like if you remain camped out perpetually in these problems? That won't remain static, right? These problems are going to grow continually worse. What would be the reasons for continued inaction? To choose to live with chronic pain or disempowering choices? No, that's of course not, right? Now, if people took a look at my programs and then went on to embrace some other programs instead, programs that might be a better fit for them at this point, totally awesome. I'm happy to be a part of that push that sets them into taking an action that's the most appropriate for them. That's perfect. But you see, they don't, right? They come seeking solutions, they get interested, they get excited. Oh, this would really help, right? And then they get scared and, frankly, are simply scared of themselves, whether they realize it or not, and return to their pain and their problems. This is why people stay unstuck. Unintentionally, sure, but they choose to remain stuck. So if it helps anyone, let me remind you of this. Your own journey brought you here. You weren't shanghaied, right? Nobody went out and grabbed you, brought you in. You were continuing along the journey that you yourself started. Well done, really. Now, don't just go home again. Get what you came for. After all, that's what I do here. If it's a good fit, let's get to work, you and I. Let's finish what you set into motion. Let's realize your vision. Let's not put it off any longer. There's no reason to keep clinging to the past, right? Or if there's some other action that's appropriate, take it, absolutely, okay? But what I would encourage you most to, you started the journey, you took a step along the journey, don't go back home. Go where it is you wanted to go. Go where you're going, right? I wish you all the best. Namaste.